everyone, it's Sarah here, and today I'll be talking to you about how to dress the rectangle body shape. So just a quick reminder about what that shape looks like. As you can imagine, the shape of a rectangle has the same measurements at the top, in the middle and at the bottom, and that pretty much is the body shape. The shoulders, the waist and the hips have pretty much the same width all the way down, so your figure is straight up and down. So if we're thinking about celebrities that we can compare this body shape to, we're thinking about the likes of Cameron Diaz. So she would be considered a slim rectangle shape, so she would have a small bust and not much of a bum either. Now, like most of the other body shapes, we can have a slim version of it and a fuller version of it. So the fuller rectangle body shape will be a little bit more stocky, the limbs will be a little bit fuller, and the bust will be a little bit more generous. But mostly we're looking at the shoulders, waist, hips. They're pretty much the same width, very little definition in the waist area, and that is our rectangle shape. So what is it we're trying to achieve when dressing the rectangle body shape? Well, we want to give the illusion of a more feminine shape, which is a softer shape with curves. The main things to avoid when dressing the rectangle shape are straight lines, stiff materials, boxy shapes that won't help us create any kind of curviness to the body. So let's start with jeans and trousers. The best type of jeans to suit the rectangle body shape are something like the bootcut leg or something with a slight flare. We don't want anything with too big of a flare because that will knock our balance off from the upper half of the body. Also, something with a mid-rise to low-rise around the waist would be perfect on this shape. Maybe even something with a moon cut on the waistline. So that's something where you've got the hip line and in front it comes down slightly. That gives the illusion of curves here. As far as pockets go, that's going to help us create curves and volume around the bum and the front of the thighs, which is what we want to achieve for the slim figure of the rectangle. So as I mentioned before, the slim rectangle can often be lacking in the butt area. They tend to have a flat bum. So to help us create a little bit of volume there, think of pockets with flaps on them rather than flat pockets. If you're particularly conscious of having a flat bum, there are ways to help you create curves if you are into this kind of thing. So like we would have chicken fillets to create a bigger bust, the illusion of a bigger bust, you can also have chicken fillets for your bum area, so you can slot them into your underwear, and this will give the illusion of curves if that's what you want to do. You can also get them for the side of the hips as well if you want to create curves around there. Crop trousers are best avoided for the rectangle shape because they again just create a straight line across the legs, and that is only going to kind of create more of that rectangle look. So we want to avoid that, and crop trousers will always make the leg shorter. So unless you're particularly tall, these are best avoided. When you're thinking of what denim wash to pick for your jeans, something like an indigo, a dark blue denim will look great, especially if you have those kind of more highlighted lines down the center of the leg, and that's going to create the illusion of a curvier leg as well. Now, staying with the lower body and moving on to skirts, there are loads of choices for you when it comes to skirts. The one thing to keep in mind to avoid is anything with a straight line, so skirts that just are shapeless from the hips down. Not your friend. You want to create movement, flowiness, and hopefully create that more of a triangle shape from the waist out. So we're looking at A-line skirts, box pleat skirts, anything with a little bit of volume in it, so to help us create that triangle shape at the bottom of the body. Also, skirts that have a crossover and bias cut skirts are going to be your best friend because they hug the body and really emphasize any curves that are there. Moving on to dresses. basically, you can have a lot of fun with dresses as long as they are nipped in at the waist somehow, usually with a belt, or if it's a wraparound dress, you can tie it tight around the waist area. So this will automatically draw the eye line in, and then the lower part of the dress will help you create the hourglass figure. So dresses with A-line or empire line are going to look great on you. Just remember that when you create that width on the bottom of the dress, you also want to help create it at the top. So think about necklines that are wide or maybe a broad collar. They are going to help create that hourglass shape. When thinking about tops, you have loads of freedom with tops as well. The main thing, again, you don't want to look at anything that's going to give you straight lines. So something like a tunic style that just is going to skim down over the hips, it's not going to help you. Now you can add a belt to this, and this will give the illusion of a smaller waistline. You can have loads of fun with your top. So think about ruffles and patterns and capped sleeves. These are all going to help create volume on the top half of the body, always keeping in mind to create that same balance on the lower half as well, and always bringing in the waistline, either with a tailored top that is made to emphasize curves, or use a belt, something like an OB belt or a thin belt just around the waistline. As far as coats are concerned, you've got a lot of freedom again. The rectangle shape has loads of scope for playing around with things, as long as you're not creating more of those straight lines. So again, adding a belt to a long line jacket is going to be fantastic. Or if you're thinking about a shorter jacket, think about having a jacket that is tailored already and tapers in at the waist. That is going to give you the illusion of a smaller waistline. If you want to add color into your wardrobe, I would consider avoiding monochrome color palettes when dressing the rectangle shape, unless you are trying to create a taller look. So the rectangle shape is already straight up and down and tends to give the illusion of a tall person anyway. So if you go for, say, a light blue on top and a dark blue on the bottom, this is going to create long lines again. So to avoid that, you're best off thinking about contrasting and complementing colors on the top and bottom half. When thinking about your accessories, again, we're always thinking create curves with the rectangle shape. So let's talk about handbags. If you have a long strapped handbag that sits over one shoulder and goes straight down, this again is going to help you just create a long straight line. So think about using that bag as a cross-body bag rather than straight down. So this is going to break up that straight line. Adding scarves to the rectangle shape can add great volume to the upper half of the body. The thing to remember here is to avoid just hanging the scarf around the back of the neck and straight down. Again, creating those straight lines, which we don't want to do. So wrap it around the neck, tuck it up around the neck. That's going to create more volume. That's the right way to wear scarves for you. The rectangle shape should have a good selection of belts in their wardrobe, ranging from a thicker belt to a thinner belt, and one that sits on the natural waistline. So this is going to help you create curves. Belts are going to be your best accessory in your wardrobe. When thinking about fabrics for the rectangle shape, we're thinking about lightweight fabrics that create movement. Something like silk, chiffon and lightweight knits. These are going to create movement, whereas stiffer fabrics are only going to create that boxiness, which we want to avoid. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found something useful in the video, please give it a thumbs up. You can hit the subscribe button, ring the bell if you want to get notifications about when my videos come out. They do come out every Sunday, so I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.